Did you know that your gut health is involved in the metabolism of your hormones? Today we're going to talk about the effect of our gut health on one important hormone, which is estrogen. Um, Estrogen and other hormones go through the liver and go through procedures where they get metabolized and turned from active to inactive form, from fat soluble to water soluble forms. So they are packaged and they're ready to be shipped out of the body. The process where the liver turns estrogen into an inactive form of estrogen is called glucuronidation, where the liver brings in basically a molecule called glucuronic acid, attaches it to your estrogen, and turns it into a water soluble inactive molecule. And then after that, it dumps it into the gut, so it's ready to be excreted out of the body. Once estrogen is in the gut, it is exposed to our microbiome, including a very important group of microbiome called the estrobolome. The estrobolome is a specific checkpoint for estrogen. Um, it's like a traffic point basically, which determines, is this estrogen going to be excreted out of the body or is it going to be reabsorbed. Um, if your gut is healthy and there is no things like dysbiosis or imbalances or any overgrowths, the estrogen passes through the estrobolome gives the green light, and the estrogen passes through the gut outside of the body. However, if there is an imbalance going on in the estrobolome that's affecting the estrobolome, there will be an imbalance affecting what is produced by the estrobolome, which are the enzymes, specifically an enzyme called beta glucuronidase enzyme. This enzyme works like a little scissors that goes and like snips any packaging that the estrogen came with through the liver, and works specifically on snipping out the glucuronic acid that the liver attached to your estrogen and made it inactive and water soluble. So once that glucuronic acid is removed, you're left with, your estrogen is activated back to active form, and it's available again to be reabsorbed back into the bloodstream. Um, so if you think about it, let's simplify it. The estrobolome releases enzymes. The enzymes basically reverses what the liver worked hard on. The packaging, but if you think about it, liver worked hard on packaging your estrogen in a nice shipping label, let's call it, and the estrobolome, once it's imbalanced, it will release an enzyme that will snip out and remove that packaging and makes the estrogen ready to be reabsorbed rather than released out of the body. These are bad, unhealthful estrogens that we do not want them to be reabsorbed, while estrogen, in a general sense of, the general sense of things, is healthy, and we want estrogen, as in our body, whether we're male or female, we all have estrogen and it has its function. But these inactivated estrogens are metabolized or conjugated estrogens. We don't want them to be absorbed. It's not a good idea. They will go back to the bloodstream. They go back to your receptors and they will cause damage. So what are things that we can do today? You know, some I will give you some foods that you can introduce in a simple way today that can help excrete these bad estrogens out of the body, and you can start implementing them today. So, what are they? Number one, we have chia seeds. Chia seed is delicious. It's very easy to implement, and once you activate it with some water, it will release a gel-like soluble fiber that really acts like a little sponge that binds to these estrogens and gets them out of the body. It will act like a little broom, you know, and cleansing out the bad estrogens out of the body. And you know, some simple ways to introduce chia seeds. You can do, you know, chia seed, like overnight chia seed pudding, or you can just add a little bit of chia seed to your water and drink it. All of these ways can activate the chia seed and release the soluble fiber in them. Number two, we have cruciferous foods. Cruciferous foods include things like broccoli, asparagus, artichokes, and so forth. There's like the whole cruciferous family has an important molecule in them called diindolylmethane. This molecule works synergistically with our liver and helps with the conjugation process. So the shipping that we talked about, the shipping label that attaches to your estrogen, is pretty well attached and ready to be, you know, help the estrogen get out of the body in a healthy way. And number three is fermented foods. So fermented foods introduces some healthy live bacteria that will synergize with your estrobolome and override that process of, you know, and keep these enzymes, that the snipping enzymes that damaged the shipping label that we talked about. They keep those enzymes in check and keep them low. So what are things that, you know, what are examples of fermented foods? We have kefir, we have sauerkraut, and a few other foods, even things like apple cider vinegar, a splash of that over your salad. All of these things introduce live, healthy bacteria, fibers, and, you know, synergistic molecules that help your liver in the excretion process. So food is a very simple process, and you can start implementing today. It doesn't solve the problem if there's a problem in your case, but it will help, you know, override and keep things in check for sure. If you're suspecting that you have a condition going on in your gut that could be affecting your hormones or anything else otherwise, I encourage you to work with a naturopathic doctor. We are trained in digestive health at the core of our education. We truly spend 4 years studying, and then, you know, all of our working years really working with the digestive system at the as an essence for our strong immune system, strong hormone function, and healthy body. My name is Dr. Reem Sharhan. You know, in case you didn't know, I'm also a naturopathic doctor, and I work with both the digestive system and, you know, the hormones, female hormones specifically, and mental health and mood regulation conditions. I encourage you to like and subscribe. Join me. I will be talking about, you know, topics like this, you know, exploring, you know, our physiology and how it affects our hormones, and the connection to gut health and mood and all that good stuff. I look forward to seeing you again in the next video.